Melbourne police say her ex-boyfriend, Carlos Jones, shot her, then turned himself in at the Palm Bay Police Department about 3 hours later. Neighbors said Jones was upset about Johnson breaking up with him. He showed up this morning and opened fire, shooting her several times.
23-year-old Sha'Dayla Johnson, affectionately known as Shay or DayDay to close friends and family, was described as sweet, loving, kind, selfless, and full of love and laughter. She wore her heart on her sleeve and would give her last to anyone. Sha'Dayla was a Sunday school teacher whom the kids loved and adored, and she had planned to leave her job at Walmart to go to college. However, just a few days before Christmas, her life was cut short by her ex-boyfriend. This coward took her life all because Sha'Dayla wanted to move on with hers without him. On the 20th of December 2022, at approximately 7:48 a.m., police officers were called to Colbert Circle in Melbourne, Florida, after calls to 911 reporting someone had been shot. When officers arrived at the scene, they found Sha'Dayla laying face down and unresponsive on the carport floor. Sha'Dayla appeared to have multiple gunshot wounds to her back, suggesting that she was shot as she was either walking or running away from the shooter. Paramedics arrived and transported Sha'Dayla to Holmes Regional Medical Center, where advanced life-saving efforts were administered. However, she could not be resuscitated and died due to her injuries. At the medical center, police conducted a sworn audio-recorded interview with Sha'Dayla's father, Torrance Clark. According to Torrance, moments before the shooting, he was relaxing in his living room recliner whilst his daughter was getting ready for work. Sha'Dayla had to be at work at 8 a.m. At approximately 7:40 a.m., Sha'Dayla said goodbye to her father, left the house and made her way to her car. A few seconds later, Torrance heard a series of gunshots. He immediately jumped off the recliner and looked out the living room window. When Torrance looked out the window, he saw Carlos Lamont Jones standing behind Sha'Dayla's car, staring at the house. Torrance knew Carlos because he had been dating his daughter. Carlos's vehicle was positioned behind Sha'Dayla's car, blocking it in the driveway. Concerned for his daughter, Torrance ran out the front door when he noticed Carlos and his car were gone, and he discovered his daughter, Sha'Dayla, laying face down on the carport floor in front of her car in a pool of her own blood. He also told detectives that Carlos and his daughter had been dating for the past 5 months and previously lived together but had broken up 2 weeks before the shooting after a heated argument. Since the breakup, Carlos had been continuously calling and harassing Sha'Dayla in an effort to get back with her. However, Sha'Dayla refused to speak to Carlos and ignored his calls and messages. Carlos last attempted to contact Sha'Dayla on the afternoon of the 19th of December, but because he could not get hold of her, he decided to end her life. At around 11 a.m., Carlos entered the lobby of the Palm Bay Police Department wishing to turn himself in and stated he was looking at facing 35 years in prison, but he would not elaborate as to why. Carlos confessed that he intentionally shot Sha'Dayla early that morning. According to Carlos, he woke up that morning in an angry state because Sha'Dayla had not been answering his phone call or text messages. Carlos said it was at that moment when he decided to shoot and kill Sha'Dayla. He said he knew that Sha'Dayla would be at work at 8 a.m., so he drove to her home in Colbert Circle just before 7:30 a.m. to confront and kill her. He confronted Sha'Dayla as she exited her front door. They exchanged a few words. Sha'Dayla turned away from Carlos and walked back towards her house. Carlos then pointed the handgun at Sha'Dayla and shot her in the back 15 times. His estimation of the number of rounds fired was based on the fact that he only had 3 rounds left in his magazine following the shooting. Carlos said he arrived with a fully loaded magazine and his pistol, which held 18 rounds. He estimated that Sha'Dayla was around 8 feet away from him when he shot her. Carlos purchased the gun and ammunition he used to kill Sha'Dayla at a gun shop approximately 1 week before the murder. He claimed that the weapon was initially bought for self-defense, but later used it to shoot Sha'Dayla. Following the shooting, Carlos fled in his car back to his apartment located in Melbourne and changed his clothes. He discarded the clothing he wore during the murder and a box of 9mm ammunition in a dumpster at his apartment complex. After dumping the items, Carlos left his apartment, drove onto the interstate, and threw the pistol magazine with 3 rounds of 9mm ammunition out the passenger side window. He continued driving and discarded his semi-automatic pistol in a storm drain. Carlos received a call from his mother a few hours after the murder, pleading with him to surrender, so he turned himself into the police. When asked if he was remorseful, Carlos replied no, and said if he had to do it again, he would have killed Sha'Dayla and her father, Torrance.
Coverage you can count on.
New at 4:30, a judge has denied bond for a man accused of murdering his ex-girlfriend after she recently broke up with him. What investigators say he revealed about the shooting during his chilling confession, and who else he told officers he would have killed. For the first time since he surrendered to police yesterday, a Melbourne man saw a judge on a charge of first-degree murder today. Good afternoon, I'm Greg Wormuth.
I'm Darlene Jones. Police say the suspect's ex-girlfriend was shot with a semi-automatic pistol that was purchased only a week ago. We first told you about this shooting here on Colbert Circle on Eyewitness News at noon yesterday. Channel 9's Melanie Holt is live at the Brevard County Jail for us this afternoon. And Mel, you learned chilling new details about the shooting, what police say the suspect did next.
Investigators say shortly after this shooting, the suspect began tossing evidence. Later, they say he confessed to shooting his girlfriend after he tried but failed to get her back.
23-year-old Sha'Dayla Johnson, who you see here in a social media post, was on her way to work yesterday when Melbourne police say she was confronted by her ex, 23-year-old Carlos Jones. According to court records, Jones woke up in an angry state because Sha'Dayla had not been answering his phone calls or texts. Investigators say Jones decided to drive to Johnson's Colbert Circle home to confront and kill her.
Mr. Jones, I do find probable cause for your arrest.
Police say that Jones and Johnson exchanged some words in her driveway before he pointed his handgun and shot Johnson in the back 15 times. Johnson's father, who was inside of the house at the time, heard the shots ring out.
Frankly, I have to determine that you're a danger to the public. So no bond is appropriate.
After the shooting, investigators say that Jones told them he discarded his clothing and tossed his weapon down a storm drain. Hours later, police say he received a call from his mother urging him to turn himself in, and he did at the Palm Bay Police Department. An investigator who arrived later said he asked Jones if he was remorseful, and he was told that if he had to do it all over again, he would kill Sha'Dayla and her father.
Police say that they did recover some clothing from the suspect's apartment complex in a dumpster. They also recovered a weapon, the one they believed was used in this shooting. Live here at the Brevard County Jail, Melanie Holt, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Carlos had no regard for Sha'Dayla's life and thought she didn't deserve to live because she didn't want to be with him. Carlos was arrested and charged with first-degree murder and the use of a firearm in the commission of a felony, and is currently being held in Brevard County Jail without bond. Sha'Dayla was love, an angel here on earth. May she rest in peace.
There are moments where I snap out of autopilot and I want to call you to check on you, to vent to you, to laugh, or to just sit in silence for hours. This is something I've been trying to avoid, this reality, because it's ugly, and it feels like my heart has been ripped out of my chest once again. DayDay, you are a person of love and laughter, a person who values each relationship sincerely. There's not one person you hated. A person who wore her heart on her sleeve. You are so forgiving. I pray that God makes me more like you. Everyone has confirmed how selfless you are. This is something I knew, but to just see it from all of the faces that's in here, it just confirms it. How you would give your last bite, something I would never do. Your last sip, your shirt, your time, love, even when you were hurting. There were times where you were tired, but you stayed up on the phone with me because I couldn't sleep. We were 450 miles apart, but you made it feel like we were in the same room. From helping me grieve my mom, your aunt, to encouraging me to accomplish another goal of mine. I'm grateful that our relationship was one that was genuine, one that was full of love, laughter, and most importantly, God. From going to Sabbath with Auntie to going to church with Shauna faithfully every Sunday, those moments made the God inside of you grow stronger, and people saw that in you. I know that you may have different relationships with each person in this room, and I thank you for allowing them to see the God within you. You weren't perfect, but you always tried your best, and God honored that. Standing here today, I'm still in disbelief, but I trust God. Your death will not be in vain. I know that God made you a part of his plan as his angel at birth, and my heart is softened to know that I was able to love on you while you were here, to share laughs with you while you were here, to motivate you, to encourage you, to pray with you and for you every moment, every must be nice, every tear, every I'm proud of you, every I love you, every give me a kiss, every can you rub my back? Girl, this really hurts, but I'm gonna miss you, and I wish I had a time machine just to go back, but I love you so much.
My sincere condolences to Sha'Dayla's friends and family. May she rest in peace. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next video.